Hello there, I'm Angela. Welcome back to my channel. June went by so quickly. Honestly, one of the fastest months so far this year. I can't believe it's already July. So it's time to play Cozy Corner Café and Bookshop TBR game for July. First, I'm going to quickly review how June went. A reminder or introduction for someone who's new, my TBR game is no challenge at all. There's no winning and there's no losing. It is just a really fun way that I came up with to help guide me along to pick my TBR for the month because I get very indecisive and mood reading is kind of what I tend to do a lot. And so this game is really just a way to give me fun prompts to make sure that I can figure out what I'm going to read next. I'm saying that because there are two books from my TBR that I want to read, but it taught me that I don't want to read it just yet. So the first one was the Read a Murder Mystery, and I had chosen Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. I want to save this book because I had no idea what it was about, and I found out that it takes place at a remote mountain resort and a ski chalet. And so I love reading with the seasons, so I'm gonna save this book and read it in the wintertime when it's gonna be colder, because for me, I have 150 books on my project Read the Room, which is books that I own that I want to read through. And this is going to help me see, if I like them and I want to keep reading them, or if I find that they're actually not for me and I want to donate them to the library. And it'll help me figure out when the seasons of the books take place, because I'm never sure. That's not often in the synopses. And then I can figure out when to read it best. And I really like the analogy of your bookshelves being like a wine cellar. Nothing is taking too long. It's never too early or too late to read a book. It's just sitting there waiting for the right time for you to read it. And so I learned from this TBR game that I do want to read this. It is just a different season that I want to read it in. And then the other book, this doesn't have to do with seasons, but my challenge book was The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. If I was being competitive, I failed the challenge, but I don't think of it that way at all because I had never cracked this book open before I chose this for last month. And now I have read the first 2 chapters, I believe, and I know for sure that I am really interested in this book. And it has now jumped up onto my TBR heavily, and I'm much less intimidated by it because I have a bit more of a familiarity with the language, with what the book is about, and dragons are immediately there. So I'm very, very excited. But it is not the right time for me to read this right now, and I don't want to force myself to read a really big book that I think I'm going to love when I'm not ready to read it. And the only reason I'm not ready to read it right now is because I had some really exciting events occur, which means that I am going to be seeing Brandon Sanderson this year. And I really need to read his books because the things that I have read from him, I loved. And so I don't want to go through this just now because I really want to go through Brandon Sanderson's books. So I want to pause that because I can only read so much intense fantasy at a time, and I want to prioritize that because I can't wait to see him at an author talk. So now on to the quick reviews of the books that I did read. A book that fits the season. I read Rebecca Thorne's 3rd book in the Tomes and Tea series, Tea You at the Altar. I loved this so, so much. If you enjoy this series and you're not sure after A Pirate's Life for Tea if you should keep going, keep going. Like it's all wrapping together. Things are fitting into place as it should be. New surprises are still popping up, new characters that you get to meet, and I absolutely loved this. And with this book, I did one of my hobbies, which was coloring books with markers. So I'll have that coming up in a little reading vlog for it. Speaking of reading vlogs, I also landed on a 24-hour readathon space. For me, 24-hour readathons are 2 days because I only count when I'm reading and I don't stay up all night. That's just bananas. I could not do that. So to me, 12 hours plus 12 hours, you know, so I usually end up doing 2 days, which is 24 hours of reading. And this was Read a Book That You Have Been So Excited For. And that one was The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. This is up, this 24-hour reading vlog, and I review the book. Even at the end, I give live reactions to the last 20 pages. A lot of tears, a lot of lumps in my throat, a lot of chest aching. And I loved this one. It was chosen on a poll for the one that I read for the 24-hour readathon, and I loved talking about it. I loved reviewing it. I thought that this was a wonderful historical fiction fantasy. It's magic, but it does feel the witchcraft elements because of the Spanish Inquisition. So if you like witchy books, not quite witchcraft though, just like magic, I would definitely give this one a shot. Then I got the prompt, a book with an animal or an insect on the cover, and there are birds on the cover of The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I said I was going to look it up and I did, but I forgot. This one was not my cup of tea. I don't want to tell anyone not to try it though, because this is a very beloved book. That's why I grabbed it from the store, because as far as romances go, I hear about this one a lot as a big favorite. For me, it was not just insta love. It was insta love and then tattoos and I love yous and waiting my whole many years of my life to be with you, and it was a lot. And there's also a lot of lines that I was like reading it and I made the joke, I'm like, are straight people okay? like some of the things in this was I don't know. I didn't find it romantic at all. I didn't think it was cute and sweet. I was like, really? This is the bar for something that's really hot and romantic? Like she was really shocked and impressed that he thought that food and eating meals with people should be an experience and something special, and just the fact of eating food with other people makes it better. Yeah, that's not unique. Yeah. And he has cilantro tattoo and just, yeah, it just wasn't, let me just read, because I'm feeling a little sassy. I don't like to talk about books that I didn't like, because I never want to steer anyone away from reading a book, because this is very, very loved. So, but I just could not help but laugh at this. And I feel like I need to share it so that you can understand what I mean when I say, are the straights okay? She says, I guess I'll be uncultured for the rest of my life. He tisked. A few of my friends would argue that you can't be uncultured in food because the idea of cultured food derives from the gentrification of recipes in general. The way he said those words and the severity with which he said them was incredibly attractive. My stomach dropped as I briefly wondered, if he's that good at words, how good is he at... That's good at... What? I don't know. This was one of those that I read the whole thing, but I mostly read it to laugh, and it gave me that kind of entertainment. So yeah, I'm a very, very picky romance reader, okay? This is not this book's fault. This is not this book's problem. This is my problem. I am a very, very picky romance reader. Then a book that you feel guilty for not having read yet, and this one is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. And I'm gonna be honest, I still feel guilty because I haven't read it yet. I am reading it like in the next few days, but I didn't finish it by the time I wanted to get my July video up. And that's because I want to go to a cafe, and it has been so hot lately. We're having, I don't think it's a heat wave, but like it's a lot hotter than it has been, and I just really don't want to go walk to the cafe, which is what I want to do, but I'm just waiting for better weather, and it doesn't look like it's going to be happening. It seems like we are now in the hot summer. So I'm just gonna have to accept it for what it is. I'm gonna get myself to go, and the drink and the snack for this month is what I'm going to be having at the cafe when I read this book, which is gonna happen very soon. This isn't like, oh, I'm not reading it. No, I'm about to read it. So that'll be exciting. And then the second hobby that I had from last month was bullet journaling. That was fun. So I'm having a good time making sure that I'm doing my hobbies, enjoying drinks and snacks. And I will explain to you in the game. I have created a new fun way for me to pick out my hobbies, drinks, and snacks with a spinner wheel from now on, because I think that would be really fun, so it's not so open-ended for myself. I can have some direction on which ones to do. Now for July's game, Summerween is about to start. July 5th, I believe, is the start date, and this is a readathon hosted by Gabby, and it's a fun way to bring Halloween into the summer. I'm going to be doing that, so the prompts that I'm going to use are from Summerween. And then the other thing that I'm going to do differently for this month is I try to focus on books that I have had on my shelf for a long time, my project Read the Room, when I choose my TBR prompts. But this month is summer and I have so many things that I want to get to that aren't ones that have been on my shelf for a long time. So this month I'm not going to be limited to trying to pick things that have been on my bookshelves for a while. So let's head on over there. Welcome back to my TBR game, Cozy Corner Café and Bookshop. This is a fictional little bookshop that I'm going to move through. I'm gonna be stopping at the bookshelves and drawing prompts to help me pick what books are gonna be on my TBR. Now you'll notice there is a cafe and then a fireplace area, which is my cozy corner. If I land on a drink or a snack, I have my little miniatures. This is for a drink and this is for a snack, and I will place those over in the cafe just to keep track of which ones I'm going to be doing, because I love including those in my months. The other thing that I love to include that I just have a pink rose to symbolize is hobbies. I love hobbies and I would love to include them in my reading month. Now this month I've added something new. I'm excited to see how it's going to go for me because I think it'll be so much fun. I made spinner wheels for the different prompts, so for hobbies, for drinks, and snacks. So that'll give me a little more guidance rather than so open-ended of what drink and hobby and snack I want to add to my month. Now, if I get to the end of the board and I have not landed on any hobbies, drinks, or snacks, I will add them when I get to the cafe and the cozy corner. This month, I do have a couple of prompts already, and that means that my fictional character, when I went to the Cozy Corner Cafe and Bookshop, I have a couple of books in mind that I'm going to be picking out. These are going to match for the Summerween prompts. So let's get started and see what this month is going to look like. A 1. Okay, perfect. A book. I'm going to put my little book over in the cozy corner to keep track. And the first prompt is for Summerween. Read a horror or a thriller. That is easy and perfect for Summerween. I am going to read Lost in the Garden by Adam S. Leslie. This one came onto my radar recently, and I just think it would be absolutely perfect for Summerween. This one is like folk horror, and it takes place in the English countryside. It says Heather, Rachel, and Antonia are going to Almonby. Heather needs to find her boyfriend, who, like so many, went and never came back. Rachel has a mysterious package to deliver, and her life depends on it. And Antonia, poor love-struck Antonia, just wants the chance to spend the day with Heather. They set off through the idyllic yet perilous English countryside in which nature thrives in abundance and summer lasts forever. And as they travel through the ever-shifting geography and encounter strange voices in the fizz of shortwave radio, the harder it becomes to tell friend from foe. Creepy, dreamlike, unsettling, and unforgettable. You are about to join the privileged few who come to understand exactly why we don't go to Almonby. Next roll. A 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, a hobby. Oh, okay, so my first time. Let me see what I am going to get on my Cozy Corner Hobby spinner wheel. Arts and crafts. That is easy and fun. All right, I got another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got 2 things here. I stopped at the bookshelf first, and then I have a snack. Let me put the snack over here so I don't forget. But the next prompt is for Summerween, and I'm going to actually double up. The first one is read a book with the sky on the cover, and then there's another Summerween prompt of read a book that you've had for more than a year. The book that I'm choosing for this is going to fit for both of those. I'm going to be reading Jackal by Erin E. Adams. You can see the sky beautifully in the background of this cover. This book says a young black girl goes missing in the woods outside her white Rust Belt town, but she's not the first, and she may not be the last. In this book, we follow Liz, who is coming back to her small Pennsylvania town to attend a wedding. This is a predominantly white town. The night of the wedding, the newlyweds' child goes missing, their daughter. As the search starts to find her, Liz remembers when she was young that this had already happened. And as she starts investigating and looking into this more and more, she notices that a lot of girls go into the woods and go missing, all of them black. With the evil in the forest creeping closer, Liz knows what she must do: find Caroline or be entirely consumed by the darkness. And now my snack. A new sweet snack. All right, so I'm gonna have to pick a sweet snack that is new to me. I mean, I think that's probably my favorite prompt because I love sweet snacks the most. A 1. A drink. Wow, I love this. I've already gotten a hobby, a drink, and a snack. Fabulous. Ooh, a comfort beverage. Okay, so I have espresso, coffee, all of that. That is going to be separate. A beverage to me means anything that's not a coffee, espresso, or a tea. So basically, like I'm thinking like lemonades, different things like that. I don't really drink soda, but a comfort beverage. So something that I know and I love that I like to drink. So good. So I have a new baked good and then a comfort beverage. Fabulous. A 3. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, I landed on a challenge space. Okay, first I was at the bookshelf where I need my last Summerween prompt. Read a novella, manga, or listen to a spooky audiobook. I'm going to go with a novella for this one. I am going to be reading a novella that I have had on my shelves for a long time. So this one is going to be working something off of my shelf. Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones. Stephen Graham Jones is one of my favorite horror authors, and this is such a short novella, but look at this cover. Even the person at the checkout was so taken by this cover. They're like, oh, I need to grab this book. And this one is just a short tale about walking through his house at night. A 15-year-old thinks he sees a person in full Blackfeet regalia step through a doorway. When he follows it, he discovers his house is bigger and deeper than he knew. I hope this is better than House of Leaves, because I did not like House of Leaves. You know what? I did this last time before too. I forgot to add my books. This is what happens when you're new to a game. I currently have 3 books. This game is really fun for me. I really don't want to create any sadness or misery. This is supposed to be fun. So I get to choose whether I want to take a reading challenge this month. Do I want to do a challenge? You know what? Yes. I will take this challenge, and I already know which book I have in mind because it is a high fantasy. For my challenge, as I was saying, I have a fantasy priority that I want to do right now, which is Brandon Sanderson. I'm going to start Mistborn. I have read Warbreaker. I need to reread it because that was so many years ago. I forgot, but I love it. And I also absolutely love Trust of the Emerald Sea, which I just read recently too. So the big one, the reason why it's a challenge is because it's kind of intimidating. I've heard nothing but good things about the Mistborn series. So we're going to start it. And I'm really excited actually because I know it's going to be great. Everyone says so, and I'm probably going to agree. And the only synopsis that I can give about Mistborn, the only thing that I know and I want to know, if I remember correctly, is that it starts with the bad guy having won, which is a neat little twist and take on a fantasy series. Okay, so we have 3 books, which are going to be for Summerween, so I'm going to read those over that 1 week. And then 1 challenge book, which is going to be a fantasy. I have 2 more prompts left. I'm very curious to see how this goes. A 4. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. A 24-hour readathon. I got this prompt last month, but I really love it. So I'm not mad about it at all because it was really nice to get to read a very highly anticipated book within a very short span of time. Three. 1, 2, 3. So first, I needed to stop at this bookshelf. And my prompt is a book with nature on the cover. This is quite the departure from the horror and the fantasy that I'm going to be reading, and that's kind of the point. I want some lighthearted, fun summer reads. And I can't believe I'm actually reading this. I didn't think I was going to, but I have actually really been interested in craving it. And I read the first chapter at the store and I liked it. So I'm like, okay, let's do this. I'm going to be reading the Bridgerton series, at least the ones that I want to read, which I'm going to start with The Duke and I. This is by Julia Quinn. This is Daphne's story out of the Bridgerton kids. There is totally nature all over this cover. There's a lake, there's trees, there's plants, flowers. I've seen the TV show. It's all right. It's just a fun time. And I really would like to go into this era, these light-hearted shenanigans that they get up to. Although, not always lighthearted, but the book in and of itself is much more lighthearted. And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm not necessarily sure I'm even going to rate these books because I'm not imagining that they're going to be 5 stars for me or anything, but that's not what books are all for. Books are to enjoy, and I think I'm going to enjoy this. And then I landed on an ebook. For an ebook, I'm going to be reading How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying by Django Wexler. This book is just something that I wanted to read because it seems like it's going to be really fun and silly and over the top and ridiculous. This book follows a young woman who is in a time loop. She gets pulled into this alternate world, this fantasy world where there are ogre characters, there's a dark lord, there's all these different what you would imagine of like typical fantasy characters. And she is being constantly tortured. And she can't get out of this loop. She can't figure out how to defeat the Dark Lord and stop this from happening all these lives over and over and over again. So she decides she's going to become the Dark Lord herself. Okay, I got a 6. I think that ends the game. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, no, it wouldn't be on top of the fireplace. It'd be chilling in front of the fireplace. So I landed on one more bookshelf. Let's see what my final prompt is. A book that seems like an easy, quick read. Oh, well, thank you. I love that. Okay, but let's continue this trend and follow it up with the second Bridgerton book. This is Anthony's story, The Viscount Who Loved Me. And out of all of the couples in the show, these are by far my favorite. I love banter between people. That's what my husband and I have. I love people who are sassy and banter with each other. This is hate to love, which, like, how much do you hate them? I don't know. She kind of hated him quite a bit. So let's enjoy this. I think this would be a quick and easy read, and I think that just these would be a breath of fresh air. This would be exactly what I need between all of the heavier, darker things this month, and it feels like summer to me. As you can see, I have a drink and a snack. I have a hobby, a 24-hour readathon, a challenge book, an ebook, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 other ones. Here's my stack for July. First of all, I'm going to finish Legends and Lattes in the next few days. This is the first thing that I'm gonna do, and I think I'm gonna love it. Summerween is from July 5th through the 12th, and for Summerween, to get those Halloween vibes in the summer, I'm going to be reading these 3 books: Jackal, Mapping the Interior, and Lost in the Garden. Then books that I have as ebooks is How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying, and Mistborn, The Final Empire. And then the last 2 are the first and second books in the Bridgerton series. So I've got quite the book stack for July. I am so excited. Summer reading is really nice and atmospheric because I also don't want to go outside. It's too hot. I just want to stay inside and read. Have you read any of these books? Do you have non-spoiler thoughts to share? Because I don't really know what to expect for quite a few of these books, other than, like, Mistborn everyone loves. That's the one thing that I know. What are you going to be reading this summer? Are there any perfect summer books that need to be on my radar? And also, I am going to be reading the Mistborn series now, and I will be reading them in order back to back because as I said, I want to know them before I go see Brandon Sanderson in October. So, if that interests you, stick around. You can read along if you want with the Mistborn trilogy if you haven't already read it. It is a trilogy, right? Let me check that. I can't tell. There's a lot of numbers with the Mistborn series, so I guess I'll find out. Wish me luck. I wish you luck with your summer reads. Stay inside, be cool from the hot weather, unless you're in the southern hemisphere, in which case I'm jealous. Stay wrapped up and warm and extra cozy from the cold weather. Until next time, I hope that your life is filled with good people and good books. Take care.